Hey everyone, it's Kathy Colaiacovo with the Marketing Your Private Practice with Kathy C podcast. And we are here doing a promised video that I said that I would do to help you understand a little more in depth the two-part episode that I did on episode 88 and 89. That's all about integrating an online booking system and using it more effectively so that you still maintain control of your calendar, but that you're also putting an option out there for people to be able to easily book consults and discovery calls with you. Because we know that the more of those discovery calls and consults you can get, the more clients you're going to sign. So I want you to be able to get as many of those consults booked easy and fast, because if it takes too long to book them, clients will leave, and they're not actually clients at that point. They were potential clients, and we don't want to turn them off. So when we look at how you can optimize things and make things run better and smoother in your practice, looking at getting away from that old game of email tag and doing the back and forth emails with somebody to book an appointment is really outdated, and it can really spend a lot of time. I've seen a lot of people actually spend more time doing that, the back and forth emails, than they actually do speaking on the consult. So this is where you want to become a lot more effective and efficient with what you're doing. Moving to an online booking calendar and a system can be a little tricky sometimes. So there were lots of tips and information shared in those two podcast episodes. And what I wanted to do with this screen share is walk you through some of the things that I was talking about, those 5 strategies and steps to optimize your online booking system just to make it easier. So I know sometimes with some of these more complicated topics, it's a lot easier to follow with the screen share. And that's what we're going to do here today. So I am going to share my screen here and show you some things. We're going to go inside Calendly, which is the system that I use for my online booking. There are lots of systems out there, and I know for those private practice owners out there, a lot of you are using your electronic health record. So what you may see here is not exactly what you're going to see if you're not using the same system as me. But what I encourage you to do is look for these kinds of features and abilities within your system if you want to do that. Okay, so we're going to hit the screen share button here, and I am going to open up my screen and show you what I've got going on here. I've got a few things moving in my way, so bear with me one second. Here we go. All right, so we are going to start off in my online booking system. So this is the inside of my Calendly. Now, I am going to refer to some of my notes over here so I don't forget what I wanted to talk about. So I've got those on my other screen here. So first step in optimizing your online booking system is deciding if you want to use a free versus a paid account. I use a paid account in Calendly. I know there are tons of systems out there. I could probably go to a free one. I've had a couple of people email me and say, oh, there's better ones that are, not as expensive. I think I pay about $100 because I've had this for a long time. So I have a founding member price. I pay about $100 US a year. So for me, the $10 a month that it might cost, $10 of my time is saved by using this system every month, and probably tenfold. So for me, I'm using a paid account. A free account with a lot of systems will limit what you can do. In Calendly in particular, then you don't get the reminder emails. And those are the critical emails for getting people to show up for these calls. So you do want to make sure that you have those in place. All right, so we're going to get that out of the way, and it's a decision that you're going to make. By having a paid account, I get the ability to have 7 different types of events, which is what they're called in Calendly. They may be called something different, types of appointments, whatever it is in your system. For me, I have very different ones. So that's key to me. So first thing, I'm going to refer back to my notes here. We've talked about free versus paid. Your choice, you decide what you want to do. But I always encourage you to think about investing money in systems that will help save you time, because that money you put in is a business expense. You get to use it when you calculate your net income for your business. So if it saves you time, think about using a paid account. Now, the second thing we want to do is set up your booking system for success. So this is where you want to pick the types of events you're going to use, This is where you want to customize your booking link if you can do that with your system. And this is also where you want to think about and know how you can share the booking link as well. So these are some key parts that we want to make sure that we set up. So the first thing that we're talking about here is making sure that we're choosing the event types. As you can see on the screen here, I have 7 different types of events. Some of them are public events and some of them have this hidden eye. So they're secret events. So if somebody came to my main booking page, which I'll show you that in a second, they cannot see these top 3 ones. These are ones that I keep private. I don't put them out there publicly. The other ones, my private strategy session for my students in my Thrive Marketing Academy, I have that one as public. My quick call, my discovery call, consult, whatever you want to call it, is there. I do a discovery call whenever I do a launch for the Thrive Marketing Academy, and that's this one here. So I have that type of event as well. And then I have a marketing strategy one-on-one for clients that I work with one-on-one. So the other ones that I have here are a strategy kickoff for 90 minutes. So that's something I do with people one-on-one. I do my Thrive Marketing Assessment session. So that's the first session people get with me when they come into the academy. It's 45 minutes. The regular sessions they get with me are 30. That's why I have 2 different events. And then, of course, I offer a free marketing review through my podcast, and I also have that one set up as well. So you can see each one of them is a little bit different in the time. The booking pages might be a little different as well. That's where I've decided what I want to do, and I have these different events. Now, the next thing you want to look at in setting up your booking system for success is customizing the booking links. So this is a key part. And if you can do this, not all systems allow it. If you can do this, this is critical in helping you and sometimes clients or potential clients know how to easily book things with you, or how you can tell them where to go and how to book. So just to give you an example, when you come in here, I think it is in the My Link area in the profile. So under My Link, you can go in and set up your URL. I've had Calendly for a long time. I actually managed to get the URL long ago of Kathy C. So what that means is if I want to tell people to go find my calendar and book an appointment, and maybe I do know most of my links, but maybe I don't know the one, I can tell them to go to calendly.com. I'm going to pull that up and to go to /Kathy C. And when they come there, they're going to see the public events that they can book with me. And it tells you what these are. So this one is one I don't put out there a lot. They'll see the quick call with me. They'll see the marketing strategy session. All of these different things are going to be in here. So this is my URL if I want to send someone there. I actually never send them here. I always send them to the specific call. So you can see I clicked on the quick call with Kathy. Whenever you click on these, I will tell you in the URL, it's going to put you to the date you're on. So that's not actually your link. Your link, in my case, for my free consult is calendly.com /Kathy C, because I set up that URL, and consult because I set that up as the one that I wanted to use for free consults. It's easy to remember, okay? When I look at the other ones that I have, the marketing review one, for instance, when I look at that, so I'm going to hit the live page here, that is just Kathy C /reviews. I know that's the review one. So when I set up all these events, I went in and set up the specific and very unique URL for each one of them. So instead of being a long convoluted link, I made a point of having the very specific URL that I wanted for those particular types of events. So again, if I go back to Kathy C, that's my main one. And I know that for the strategy sessions, it is /private. That's the one I used for that one. And then I believe for the marketing strategy sessions, it's strategy. So you can see I've gone in, as I've set them all up, I've made a unique link. If you can do that, it's just really good, because sometimes it may be that you want to share those links in those ways, very quick and easy to people. So that's very important to look at how you do that, okay? So that is one way to help you figure that out. Because what happens is then when you want to share those links with other people, you have a quicker idea of how to do that and what to do. The other thing that I would always say too, I see this happen often. Somebody will get into their calendar link and they'll go looking here. And remember, I said in the URL, if you look up here, it's kind of got back in one and month and 0424. So it's kind of moving ahead to April. That's a lot of times, or sometimes I'll see people who send me a link to their calendar. It has these types in it. It may be they don't want me to book till that month. But if I take out anything after the question mark and after, then I'm going to just see that one URL. So this is typically what I would share with somebody when I give it to them through an email, or if I'm in a chat or a direct message somewhere. The other thing that I do like about Calendly and for getting people quick links, there's a Chrome browser extension. I'm going to move my image out of the way here. So there's a Chrome browser extension that you can have. And when you click that, it's been making me sign out lately, but I just pop it in and I'm there. So typically I would just click it here. So I will do this often in the Thrive Marketing Academy if I'm reminding people to book their free call with me, their strategy session. I'll just click over here. I'll go in and I will click copy link and I'll hand it over to them and give them the link to it. And then they can do that. So I like having this here. It's quite easy to do and all of the sessions are there. The other thing that I very pointedly did with each one is named them all so I know exactly what they are as well. So when I'm sharing the links, I know what one I am giving people for the different types of events that are there. So then the other way to easily share this, and this is something I wanted to show everybody as well. I'm going to pull up my email to do this. So let me just move this over here. So I also have an integration of Calendly into my Google email. And so when you see down here, if I'm sending someone an email and I'm just going to maybe share them if I had a consult or I have a follow-up, I'll do my blah, 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 and I'll put in the words, you can book your link or book a time with me here in my calendar. So that's what these blah, blah, blah words are here. And so what I will do is I will just quick and easy click on the calendar link. I could set up a one-off meeting if I wanted to. The only thing I typically use in this little feature here is the event options that I want. In this case, I'm often doing the private one-on-one, the 30-minute one. I just hit insert link and it puts it right there into my email for people. So that makes it easier as well. And by looking at this, I know that by hitting the private one, I've given them the 30-minute because I know that I named it that way when I set things up. So that is how you want to go in and set up your Calendly or your online booking system in whatever way that you're setting, and making sure that you are getting it set up as effectively and efficiently as possible. So that takes us to the next part, which is the integration and automation. So this is where you want to go in and you want to connect your main calendar to your calendar system, whatever it is. So for me, I use Google Calendar. This is what rules my day. It's where I book everything and I put everything in here. I have it connected. So I've gone in and set up in the settings, gone back to my main area. This is something you will do at the beginning type of thing. And then you have your calendar sync that you can connect. So maybe you use an Outlook calendar, whatever it is, you can go in there and connect it. If you can do that with your own system, whatever one it is, you definitely want to make sure you're doing it because that makes you be able to connect everything together. So when somebody books in over there, and I can see these ones that have the little C, that's some of my students in my programs that have booked those sessions with me. And I know because of the little C there that they've connected through the integration. So if you can go in and get that done, it's really helpful. The other thing that I've done is I've connected it to my Zoom system. So what happens with all of these is when somebody goes in to book an appointment, I'll just move through here and we'll pretend to book one. I'll go down here at the end of April. So they come in, they pick a calendar, they pick the system. And then what happens here is this is all going to be connected. So in here, I'm just going to go in here. I'll just put my email. in here. Okay, I'm going to give my phone number as a backup, and I've done this. So this is a question that I have my members fill out when they do this, and schedule the event. So what happens now, because this is all connected to my Zoom, so you can connect it to all sorts of things, then this is basically, I'm the participant here. So I scheduled this by using Kathy's system, which is mine. And what happens is being connected to my calendar and being connected to Zoom means that it has created a meeting in Zoom with the topic of an assessment session with Kathy and the name of whatever person it is. And then it's also created in my calendar for me, the person who owns the calendar. It's also created a appointment in my calendar, and it probably should be in here. Yep, it's in here already, the one with the weird odd name here. So that is where I've got that all connected. And if I show you my Zoom here as well, let me put this in here. And I go to, let me go to April 29th. I'm probably going to have to go here a little further ahead. There we go, April 29th. And I have this other meeting. It's booked in there now. So this has actually created in Zoom a specific meeting with its own Zoom meeting room. This would normally be the name of the person that booked with me. And then it says that it's a Thrive Marketing Assessment session. So it's booked it in for 45 minutes. It's got all of that, and it has the URL here to the Zoom meeting. And what that means is when I go in, if I were to go into my events and look at the scheduled ones, and I go away into April 29th, you'll see the one that's in here. And what this means is it's actually got the information in there. And when it sends, it's got the additional info for this. It's actually already got the Zoom in there, and anything else like added, phone numbers people can dial in from, all of the stuff that came from Zoom when it set up that meeting. So this is why I like doing this, because when I talk about saving time, I didn't have to go in and create the meeting in Zoom. I didn't have to go in and create the appointment in my calendar. By having this open on there, people, when they book with me, they're instantly getting it booked in my calendar. They're getting it booked in Zoom. And as the person who got this confirmed, the web conferencing details follow. So they get an email, because part of my automation setup, which is the next thing that we want to talk about, is having things connected and using all of the automation that you can. I have set up a confirmation email with the info, and I've also set up the reminder emails with info. So people are going to get a reminder the day before and the morning of this appointment, but they also get an email right now saying they've scheduled it, and it will have a button that allows them to link that appointment into their calendar, whether it's Google, Yahoo, Mail, Apple, whatever it is. Mail, I don't know what Mail is. Mac Mail, I was thinking about. So that's how all of this works. I didn't have to set up the Zoom. I didn't have to set up the appointment. The person booked in my calendar, and it all happened. This is why paying a fee for something like this is worth it to me, because the amount of time I just saved for that one consult is worth $10 of my time, in my opinion. So, and that's one appointment for 1 month. I pay $10 or so a month. So if we think about, I probably get at least, I can look at my calendar and see right now, I have, let's just look. People aren't booking this far ahead, but we'll go into here. So got 1, 2, 3, 4 this week. We've got the next week. I've got another one that we moved to 3. That was another one down there. And then we've got 4. So when I look at all of that, if I think about how much time it saved me just in booking the Zoom and setting those up, so easy, so easy. And that's why I really love using a system like this for this particular reason. So the other thing that you want to look at here, and I'm going to show you more in the quick consult. When we talk about the automation, we talked about the reminders. So when you set these up, and I'm not going to go through a ton of these in detail, but I do want you to understand that there are lots of options, and we're going to talk about that in step 4 here. But for me, the biggest thing when I set this all up is I'm looking at the communications and the booking page options. So first off, I do want to know there's questions you can have. This is limited to a paid account, but please provide your phone number. How did you hear about me? And what's the main problem you want to discuss, and look for solutions. So that's my consult questions. That's all I need to know. And that's what I have. I mentioned in the podcast, they have now systems to collect payments, and different things like that as well. So there are definitely ways that you can connect e-commerce to this too, if you want to set this up for booking paid appointments as well. So I always make sure that I get the questions answered that I want. They're different. We saw in my Thrive Marketing Assessment for members in the Academy, they have to click that they filled out the getting to know you form that I have them fill out at the beginning. So I need that for information for the call. So I have them fill it out. So I have it for the call. So this is where we go in there in the booking page options for what I want to know. But then this one, the communications, is all the automation that I can set up for people to be able to get the email confirmation, to get a cancellation email if they decide to cancel and reschedule, and then the email reminders as well. I could do text reminders and follow up after, but I have those turned off. Those are things that you can do as well. Calendly did move to a workflow option. I had all these set up before that, so I have not changed and moved to that because I get what I need out of these reminder emails. So if you want to look at what these are, you can always go in and adjust them. They fill them out with a lot of code. So invitee name puts their name in, their event name, my name, all of that kind of stuff. And essentially here, the location tag is the Zoom meeting link that it's set up. So all of that goes in there. And that's that email confirmation. And then there's also email reminders. So I have an email reminder that goes out 4 hours before the event. And so that gives the information here. Again, it's a reminder that they get. It's automatically set up. I didn't really have to write this email at all. It's just sort of set up there. It's got everything that we need. So that's why we want to look at the automation, because that is really critical to making sure that people give you the info that you need, but also that they get the reminders to show up for those consults. Now, the next part that we talked about is steps 4 and 5 in this system. So step 4 is all about managing your availability and your calendar. So within the podcast, I shared 5 ways that you can manage your availability and your calendar. I'm going to pull them up in here from my notes so that we can talk about them a little. So we want to buffer time between appointments so that you can't book back to back. If you like that, you don't need a buffer time. I don't like it. I like prep time and after time before calls. I have a minimum notice people can't book ahead of. So for certain appointments, and I'll show you in a second what that looks like, it allows me to make sure that people can't get on last minute on my calendar and book an appointment today, like this morning, for later today. I plan my day out too much that just doesn't work for me. So it is something that I want to make sure that I have in there so that I'm not getting overbooked and overwhelmed. I set a daily appointment limit. So with some of these, I do have a limit of how many somebody could book in a day, or how many different ones of that type of appointment can be booked in one day. For my strategy sessions, I don't want more than one of those a day, because they could be combined with another one or some consults. So you really have to look at that and think about all of that. The other thing that I do is I have specific blocks for different appointment times. So you saw that where I had the marketing reviews for the podcast, the consults, the marketing assessment. There's lots of different things. Well, even with some of those, the times I've opened up for them in the calendar is different too. So within those, we have some other different options as well. Oops, I want to pull this one back over here so I can look at it while I'm telling you about what we're looking at in this side. So when we talk about a buffer time, when you set all of this up, you kind of go through the event, connecting it to Zoom. I know who the host is, it's one-on-one. And this is where we get into setting and managing the calendar. So in here, I only allow people to book consults with me 28 days out. This is one of those things I don't want them booking too far out, or they could potentially end up not getting what they need in a quick enough time. So I have a limit on that as well. Some of my ones for members in the Thrive Marketing Academy, I let them go out 60 days. I try not to go any further than that because I want to make sure that in 3 months, if there's something I want to change on my calendar, I have time to do that. Okay. Setting a minimum notice limit, you can see all of that kind of here. So I have a buffer time 15 minutes before and after. So if I have something in my calendar booked and somebody could book a consult, if my booking is going, say, from 10 to 10:30, and they can do consults from 10 to 11, but I'm booked 10:30, nobody can get on till 10:45. So it will wait 15 minutes after that other appointment. So that's what the buffer time is for. Minimum notice for consults is 2 days. So I do tell people, and I have it right here on my message, if the times here don't fit your schedule, email me a couple of times that work for you. So I do try to put an option out there. So if nothing I have open, and I don't have it open 9 to 5 every day because I control my calendar a little more than that. So if they don't see anything they like, I've let them know that they can email me. And actually, just on the weekend, I had somebody do that very thing. She emailed me. I made a time today and accommodated her earlier today, and we had a talk. And she probably couldn't have gotten in till sometime in April, but she had something she needed to ask me about something that would make a decision, her decision to work with me now or later, more important. So I accommodated her. So having that option there is something you can do, because not very many people will do that. They'll wait for one of your times. Then the other thing is I have 2 consults a day that I will book. So I have 2 as my limit on there. Now I have 7 appointments. So I have a limit of 2 on this one. I have a limit of 1 on all of the other marketing one-on-ones. I don't book any more of those than 1 a day, because I know that I could have a couple consults as well. Now the private one here, I think I might allow people to book with that one. Yeah, so I will do 2 days for that because it's only a half an hour. But for the longer ones that are 50 minutes, 45 minutes, and the 90-minute ones, I'd only put a limit of 1 a day because I know what my brain can handle for appointments. And it's a limit just for this type of session. So it's not a limit for all of the different types of sessions. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So the reason that I use all of these different tools in here is that I'm making sure that I've got enough time for people to see me, but also I have some limitations. And that's when I talk about you don't lose control of your calendar. It's because you use these tools in here to help you do that. Now, the last thing I talked about was setting specific times. So one thing that you will notice in all of mine, when we look at the available hours, they're different. As I said earlier, I absolutely do not open my calendar 9 to 5. In fact, my calendar doesn't open till 10, and 10 is only on a couple days. So it just depends on what's going on. So over here, I've set weekly hours. So I have Mondays 2 to 5, Tuesdays 3:30 to 6, 10 to 12. I actually have quite a lot open here, but I also block it off on the other side. And that's step number 5. We're going to talk about that in a second, the shadow calendar. It is important for all of this. That shadow calendar is really critical. So without it, I would really struggle a lot with some of these times. So every one of these different meetings that I have, and again, I have a lot. I have 7. Most people out there are going to have a consult and a 1 hour or a half an hour booking. So remember that as you're watching me go through all of these different times here. I want you to really remember that. But the thing that I want you to understand about these is all of these different meetings that I have. So I'm going to show you another one here. So for instance, the marketing reviews, these are the free reviews I do with the podcast. So when I look at when I can host these, people can book 45 days in advance. I still have all of my buffers on there as well and my time limits, but you can see here, I definitely do not have as much time. 6 to 7:30 on Tuesdays, afternoon on Wednesday, and a morning and afternoon on Thursday. And that's it. I typically only do a couple of these every month, so I don't need to have every hour and every minute of every day open for this. And it changes sometimes. For instance, when I started with this, I had an appointment time on Wednesday mornings, but I forgot until that one first time it happened that garbage day in my street is on Wednesday mornings. And it was very challenging to do a podcast recording with somebody, which is what I do with these marketing reviews, when the garbage truck is outside and making a ton of noise. So I went in and adjusted the timing. So it is key that you think about and you look at all sorts of different things that you can set up with your schedule and how you can block times. When I do another one that is different is the Thrive Marketing Academy discovery sessions. So I make those 20 minutes and they typically happen when I launch something. So I typically have an offer or a bonus or something going on that will last for maybe a week. And I will typically finish the 2-week boot camp that is launching a new cohort or new applications into the academy. I'll do that and typically end it on a Thursday, or even I'll look at a Friday type of thing. What happens is I make an offer and I say, you get these extra bonuses by signing up today. You get a free month, trial, whatever it might be that I'm offering with the launch. And you have it open. I typically have it open for maybe a week. But what I also do is I say you can book a Thrive Marketing Academy discovery call with me, book 20 minutes. And as long as you book that time within the next 7 days, I'll hold the bonus till we talk. So when I do that, I typically do go in and do some extra time. So I'll put more time on Fridays. You'll notice I don't book anything on Fridays because afternoons on Fridays, I don't do work for others. I do work for me. So when I look at that, I will typically open, and I do it in a different way because the system lets you change some of this. So number one, I will have like 14 days that'll be open. So whatever it is going to be, I'll probably close it down like to 7 days, 10 days, whatever it might be. And I set it up for that launch time. And then I go into the available hours and I'll set them up. So let's say it's going to be, I'll go in like Thursday and I'll open it probably, I never open early at 9. I'll probably open it from like 11 and I'll put it on to 7. So I'm trying to accommodate different time zones with this. And then Friday, I'll do the same kind of thing. I'll do 11. Fridays, I typically would close at 5. But then what I also do is I'll put an opening on Saturday. When I'm doing a launch, if people want to talk to me right away, I want them to talk to me. So I'll go in on this one. Again, I'll probably put in at 11 and maybe put it till 5. So I would go through and do that type of thing and set it up because I'm typically only going to have it set for different times. Now, the other thing you can do is date specific hours. So maybe I want to look at date specific hours. So let's just say that we were looking at assigning this. If I was doing a launch, let's say it ended on April 11th and I was going to have things open for a week. So what I might then do is go in and put some different times, like on Sunday on the 14th. Well, no, I would never do a Sunday. So on the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 12th and 13th, I want to put in from 11 till, I would do it differently because I wouldn't always open it up that late for all those different days. So let's take Saturday off. So I could do that in that way. And we'll put it right for the week. So 11 to 7 for all of these and hit apply. And then I have those very specific times that are open. And that way it's because I have this launch. If people want to talk to me, I want to book more calls in that point. And then I would just sort of hit save on there and put that in there. So that's how you can use a lot of these different booking features to change things up and keep things under control in your calendar. So that's why having that managing your availability is key there. Now, as you do that, one of the things I mentioned is you've got to know what your ideal week is like. You've got to know what your regular calendar is when you decide for, your regular consults, your regular one-on-one calls with people, when you're going to open them. So that is key and important. And I think you have to look at your own calendar when you do this. And this is where my 5th tip for this on optimizing things so that you can book more consults using an online booking system comes into play, the shadow calendar. So what I do with this shadow calendar, it is the gray calendar that we've got in here. And this is the one, so I'm going to go back here and we'll look at this week here where we're at. So, whoops, I'm going to go on this one and I'm going to look at the week. So what I do with this is, and I talked about this, it's step 5, it's the secret sauce to making this all work for me. I have gone in and I have put in gray, so I have created a new name to a calendar. I call this one Time Driver because I've been too lazy to change it to Calendly, even though I stopped using Time Driver like probably at least 10 or 12 years ago. So I could call this my Calendly one, I suppose. I'll change it. I could do that right now. We'll call it Calendly. There we go. So now I know that this is my Calendly calendar. And it is one that I've got. I don't think I have to hit save. So perfect. All right, we'll go back here. So this is my Calendly calendar. I have everything in gray because I changed the color to a light gray. And what I do with this is I mark in the times I've got open in all of those open spots for the variety of appointments. For the most part, I just put them all together as strategy and consults or consults and strategy. I don't offer strategy on a Tuesday morning, so I don't have that one in here. I have the consults and strategy here, and I've got them down here. I do put in the free marketing reviews separately because I want to know when I have those open for people that want to book those podcast recordings with me and do a free marketing review. So that is something that I do separately. But the key thing about these is that you don't want to mark these as busy. I'm free with all of these. These are here for a mind game for me. These are here to let me know that in my open spots in the calendar, this is what I have set up every week. Now, if a lot of you might say, well, I'm going to change my calendar every week and it's all different. Okay, that's great. But you can see a couple things that I've got in here, like booked, and it's blocked off. When I get too busy or too much is going on, or I need to have a time break, I will do that. I'll block days off just by going in and writing, I'm booked April 1st to 3rd. And in this, I'm booked. Oops, I should be busy. Oh yeah, I opened that up for something. So when things fill up and things get busy, we had a little crisis here on the weekend in the kitchen. So I needed to catch up on some things because I didn't get to do much work today, which is why I'm recording this a lot later than I thought I would. Anyhow, I go in and I'll do something like this. I'll just put in a couple days, block it off, and then everything is booked. Nobody can book in for those days. But with all of these other ones, these gray ones, so these free marketing reviews, I don't do anything in it. I just go in. I created one item on the first day when I decided to set those up. I put it in here. I mark it as free, and I set the time that I have blocked over for the marketing reviews. So if we went over and looked in my availability for what I've set up, it's Tuesday evening, Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, and Thursday afternoon. So looking back over here, we have Tuesday evening, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, and Thursday afternoon. So I have them all set in there. They're only there so I know what's open and available for people. So if, for instance, I have golf night this night, so we do golf every week through the winter on a simulator with a bunch of people. We do like a kind of a team thing. So I have that booked in here. This is booked as busy. Okay, I am busy. And I actually book, the golf is at 6:30, but we have to leave here at 5:45. So I block off from 5:30 to 9:30. What that means is that right now, somebody really couldn't book this free marketing review because I have it set up to 5:30 with my buffer time of 15 minutes. It doesn't give them enough time to do what they would want to do here. I know that, but I also know I still have 3 other spots open this week if somebody wanted to book in there. I actually only have 2 because this one has an appointment right after it, and that means this one is not available for the 45-minute period. Okay, so this shadow calendar is really here so that I know if I have an appointment at the doctor. and I'm cutting things off here, I know that people can't book this here. I'm also very particular. If I have an appointment at 10 a.m. and I have travel time, I book my appointments, I put them in, and I have buffer time built in, just like I was saying with the golf one here. We golf at 6:30, but I've blocked it off at 5:30. So I use my calendar in that way. I also have things color coded so I know what's going on. I know that these kind of greeny yellow ones are my Thrive Marketing Academy groups and the different calls I have with the 5 different groups each, or the 4 groups in my membership group as well. So I know what they all are. The red is my business ones for Pepper Red. Of course, we have red in the logo. And then I have blue, our personal ones or personal events that I'm doing. I call that our Casa C home calendar. So I'll book those in there. So I know what a lot of these different colors are. The yellow ones are meetings with my team members. The green ones are trainings that I have with programs that I'm part of. So I have all of these in here. And what it does is it lets me know that if I have something going on, so let's just kind of move up ahead here. We'll go into something else. Let me see here. Let's go to this week here. Let's just say that something was going to happen and I was going to be out or booked somewhere, Wednesday morning from 9 till noon. I know that I've taken all of that time off my open calendar booking for what's open for when I tell my members, my clients to go book a call, or when people can book a consult. So it's really just a placeholder is all this shadow calendar is. It's so that I fully understand if something gets booked in there. So for instance, over here, this one got booked. There's no longer on April 30th an option to have a free consult with me on that time. It's taken off because this other one got booked in there. So that is all this is all about. I'm going to go in here and delete this one here. I'll show you this too, might as well. One of the things people can do, because it's set up in Calendly, is if this time doesn't work for them, say something changes on their calendar, they can hit reschedule. It will take them back to the calendar where they can go and book another time. And then I'll get a notice in my calendar that the Zoom has changed to XX new date. And I'll get a note of the new one in there and it will move in my calendar automatically. So there's so many benefits to using tools like this that I cannot describe to you how important it is that you look at setting them all up and hooking them together and making sure that you are optimizing everything as much as possible. And I know the shadow calendar one is a little challenging sometimes for people to understand, but for me, it's really more of an option that people really understand that, say next week is here and I look at doing something over here and things, I can look at this. I know I've written booked in here. I have Fridays off, so that keeps them open there. So this means right now that the only day left in that first week of April that I have for either consults or strategies is Thursday. I actually don't know why I have this booked here, but I'm going to leave it there till I figure that out. But that's how I work the calendar. So if I feel that I'm going to go to a different event or I need something because, I actually know why. I potentially gave that time slot to somebody for something. For a special project I'm doing. So if I need to do stuff like that, I go in here and I know the minute I've done this, I've now made it impossible for anybody in this week to book one of my free marketing reviews with me on the podcast. So it's just really an understanding and knowing and understanding how your calendar's set up, what you've got going on here, what's happening and going on with the different calendars and appointments that you have over on this side, so that you really understand and know what you've got open where people can publicly book with you, because it is going to save time, but you also know what's happening in your own calendar to know how to manage and balance them all. So that was my little show along screen share video on how to use an online booking system and how to optimize it so that you can have it work a lot more efficiently, connect it with your calendar, connect with your Zoom or whatever online conferencing system that you're using, so that everything can happen a lot more smoothly. And then when people do need to book with you, they can quick and easy book. We're not spending more time than you would on a consult, basically doing emails back and forth. And that's the big thing that I don't want you doing. I don't want you having all this time and challenge of, oh, this time doesn't work. Can you set this time up? And just going back and forth and back and forth. It is such a waste of time. And especially when you're talking about consults. Most people are probably going to close anywhere between 50 and 70% of their consults. So some of those are things that you don't want to waste time on. But a lot of those are ones that are going to lead to more business. If you can make it easier for people to get on your calendar and get talking to you, you're going to find that in the long run, you're going to end up converting more of those consults because you're having more of them and converting them into clients. So I hope this has helped. I know it's a lot. If you do have any questions, we'll be hosting this and putting it up on YouTube. For those of you in the Thrive Marketing Academy and the Thrive Coaching Circle, you're getting a copy of this in the members area because it is very helpful. And I want you all to be able to access it too. And if you do have a question and you are watching this on YouTube or you're finding it on my social media channels or as part of the podcast and you have some questions, you're not sure how to make it work for you, get two options. You could book a discovery call with me, a quick call with Kathy, or you could book a free marketing review and come on, we'll put a recording on. We talk on video, but it isn't video that goes out publicly. It does become a podcast episode for me, but it's basically me helping you and walking you through some, issues and marketing strategies and ways you can improve your business so that you can be more efficient. In this particular topic, we're talking about booking more consults. Those are those most important calls that lead to clients. So whatever you can do to improve your system and your setup, you want to be doing that. That's all I have for you today. Wherever you're listening to this video, we'll find some links underneath to ask me questions, send me information, or book a call with me and try to get in my system, talk to me, and see how it all goes. I can't stress enough how important a system like this is that doesn't cost thousands of dollars to run, can help you actually turn that around and turn it into thousands of dollars by working with more clients. So that's it for today. This is Kathy Colaiacovo signing off, saying thanks for listening, following along with this video. And I'm here if you need me or if you have any questions. All the links are going to be right below this video where you can reach me. Have a fabulous day.